Well, hey there, YouTubes. I got a craving for chocolate, so how about we make some up and down brownies? So, up. Washington State, last week, literally the day before Valentine's Day, signed gay marriage into law. Marriage equality. Yet another state. That puts us at 7. 7 states that have full marriage equality, at least at the state level. So awesome for them. And so that was our up. As we make our up and down brownies, we take a standard boxed brownie mix, we mix it up according to the directions. So if the directions say mix 2/3 of a cup of oil, a 1/4 cup of water, and 2 large eggs into a bowl, mix it with the mix, that's what you do. Down. Iran, things are getting really sticky in the Middle East again. Of course, when have they not been? But everything that's going on with Iran and possible nuclear arms, they're claiming they're developing technology. They're claiming that they're developing clean energy technology, but that's just really sticky. And you know, the Iranian people they're cool people. They're just average Joes like any of us. But just like here in the United States, average Joe American, they really got no beef with anybody. It's just our leaders are kind of psychotic. So that's definitely a down, and I just hope that I hope that we're able to work out everything in a peaceful manner. I don't know if it will happen that way, but you know, I ain't got no problem with the average Iranian person. Just like I'm sure that they have no problem with me. It's just our leaders that are kind of fucked up. We really need to work on getting better leaders, don't you think? Okay. Anyway, moving on for our up and down brownies. Up. New Jersey Senate. This New Jersey Senate, on the same day that Washington State voted in, or the same day that Washington got full marriage equality, the Senate of New Jersey passed legislation that will allow for marriage equality. So, New Jersey's one of those interesting states that kind of had a separate water fountain for the gays. They had civil unions, but now they will have full marriage equality. So that brings it up to 8. Hell yeah! And so, because these are up and down brownies, our up is we are going to add lots and lots of nuts, because I like nutty brownies. How about you? Yes, insert joke about the lesbian loving nuts. So you gotta mix those in. Usually want to give them a good chop before you put them into your brownies. Give them a good chop. Just go over them with a knife. Speaking of that, well, speaking of knife, evil. They're not evil. Oh, the bullshit that's going on with birth control and insurance. For crying out loud. Not everybody who uses birth control is using it to not have babies. Even though that's the bulk of the reason, but not everybody. I mean, some people use it for hormone replacement therapy. Well, a lot of trans women use it, well, as their hormones. But beyond this, you know, nonprofits not having to follow the mandate as far as the healthcare thing goes, that's cool. Totally. I'm all for that, nonprofits. But hospitals and schools, if hospitals and schools want to get federal funding, then they have to obey federal law. And if including that in their healthcare, including birth control coverage in their healthcare mandate is part of the federal law, then if they want to receive their funding, they should have to follow it. I do highly believe in freedom of and from religion. But just imagine if this was a Pastafarian hospital. They would be all for the whole birth control thing, but then again, they would also probably be forcing all of their workers to use birth control all the time. Because, well, in the 8th of the 8, I'd really rather you didn't, it does say, for the love of Mike, wear a condom. Or what if... Yeah, so that's pretty fucked up. Down. Gas prices are going up. Because that sucks. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of parts of the U.S. where you can go without having a car. But then again, places like here in the Midwest, you need a car. Quite often. There are some people who survived without them, but I know that I wouldn't have been able to complete my education. I wouldn't have been able to hold the job that I had while in school without the use of my personal vehicle. Not to mention my little car's cute. So, I won't quite count this as an up. I'll count it kind of more as a sideways. Rick Santorum's, or Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum's view on about the federal government shouldn't have anything to do with the local educational system. He says that the federal and state ought to fund it, but they shouldn't have anything to do with standards. I honestly don't have enough information about this to make a full-on video about it, and I'm actually going to ask my crush, who happens to be a teacher, her views on it when we hang out later this week. But I guess a couple of thoughts that I have on this issue is that this could lead to an even bigger knowledge gap. Right now, you have two valedictorians from high school. One of them grew up in a very poor district, the other one grew up in a very rich district. That person in the very poor district and that person in the very rich district both took the hardest classes their colleges offered, and their high schools offered. And they did well in their classes, they were straight A students. But the person from a rich district ends up a year ahead in college, the person from a poor district ends up a year behind. My fear is that with taking away federal regulations of the educational system, that gap will increase. You will have some school systems, possibly just speculative, teaching creationism in their biology classes, and so forth and so on, teaching bad history, teaching bad English and whatnot, and you'll have schools in other parts of the country, more progressive schools, teaching good history, good science, and whatnot, and, well, that leaves the kid in even worse shape than they are now. Yeah, teachers have to teach to tests, but at least their core knowledge base is there. So, this has been a really fucked up week, or fucked up couple of weeks as far as stuff that's in the news. Presidential candidates, my view, I'm not sure I'm going to vote for Obama again. You know, he's done a lot of good things for civil rights. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. Things are, LGBT got added to the federal hate crimes laws, which is all definitely positives. But I'm really not digging where the economy is. And yeah, he's only had about 4 years, and the political party opposite of him has been dragging their feet all the way when it comes to the changes he's trying to make. I don't know. I'm half inclined to look for a very progressive candidate to use my vote as a protest toward what I see as a lot of bad things. And you have to admit, he's kind of a blue dog. I don't know. If you have any issue with what I'm saying right now about Obama politics, please send me a message. I would be really interested to debate with you and hear your political points. Okay, so back to the brownies. Need I say chocolate? A nice dark chocolate bar, scrumdiddly-umptious. I believe this is actually Swiss chocolate. I got it from Aldi. So yeah, we're going to put in, well, why not, a whole freaking chocolate bar's worth of chocolate all chopped up into our brownies. We're going to mix it all together. You might want to increase the liquid in this. Oh, and another thing, we are going to put in strongly brewed coffee rather than the water that our brownie mix calls for. And yeah, this is kind of ghetto style. I'm mixing it in a cooking pot, but that's alright. And to finish off our brownies, if your cake box or your brownie box says put into a 13x9 pan, bake at 350 for 24 to 26 minutes, do that. Follow the instructions on your box and enjoy. Peace out, YouTubes.